Welcome to this week's edition of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. Lines are open 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450. If you choose the email route, if you're bashful, KFIZstudio@gmail.com. We welcome Ron Rademann to the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good to see you.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we're going to have a
indoor week.
Yeah, kind of a mixed bag this week, with it's supposed to be in the 70s pretty much every day this week, but then rainy and windy every day too. But it doesn't rain from sun up till sundown. So
no, except for I think Monday night and Tuesday, Doug was saying it's not going to be a steady shower, thunderstorm activity the other days, but the chances are there, and the Weather Service is saying 80-90% chance each day.
Yeah, so it's going to rain. It's just not going to rain all day long.
Right. We hope.
We hope.
Yeah, we do hope.
Mother Nature can do what she wants.
Yep.
And that other voice you just heard is Master Gardener Carol. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you again. And again, lines are open. The show is directed by your questions, so if you got any, give a holler, and as always, we recommend you giving a holler early in the show rather than later. And then a quick reminder, this phone system only allows us to take one call at a time. So if we're on a call and you have a question and you call in, I can't answer the phone off air. So just let it ring. We'll get to you. Don't give up.
It's going to ring 100 times, but it'll ring.
This one's only rung 3 times. Good morning. You're on the air.
Oh, I'm on the air?
You are.
Okay. I have a question about daylilies and hostas. When do I plant them? I'm going to have my garden is going to be full of hostas and different colored daylilies.
Well, you could be planting those any time now.
I would think so.
Yeah, or if do you have some in your yard already? You're just going to divide and replant?
No, this is new. We live in Brandon. So you kind of know how cold it is there. And no, we have nothing there right now except maybe some raspberry bushes, but they're kind of dying. They've kind of had it. So that's why we just want flowers. That's all we want there now.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, so you could really be planting those any time here now. We're kind of over the hump here we're going to get some days where it probably freezes overnight and things like that, but not really enough that would affect plants like that.
Okay, that sounds good. How deep should I put the little rascals?
Well, kind of the key there is, never plant them deeper than what they are in the pot.
Okay.
So just don't put any dirt on top of them. Plant them at the same height that they're growing.
Okay.
And you're probably, starting to see if you're purchasing them in pots right now, they're maybe up a couple 3 inches, unless they were forced from down south or something. Then they might be.
It's local. It's all local.
Yeah. So then they're just kind of just starting to grow. It's a good time to do it because without all the new growth kind of getting in the way, so to speak, of planting, so now would be the ideal time or any time in the next couple weeks. Yeah.
One last question. I have some straw that we use for the guinea pig. Well, the guinea pig went to heaven. So I got all this extra straw. Hay. It's hay. Can I put it around these plants?
Well, a light layer, is okay. You don't want to smother them,
Okay.
because, hay and straw breaks down. So just a real light, a half-inch light fluffy layer would be okay.
Good to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the answers you have given me. I'll get out there and do it. Thank you.
Yeah. And then as far as the hostas go, she's probably gone, but she can listen.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
The hostas. Look carefully at the width that they show those plants at, because some are very small and some are very large. If you're going to do a variety of things, just check on that a little bit, or you'll get crunched together in no time.
I saw that. Yeah, some get really wide. They really spread out. Others not so far. I know. I'm going to watch for that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay,
Alrighty.
bye-bye. I'm going to hang up now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call. Lines are open, 923-1450, 888-900-1450. Email is kfizstudio@gmail.com. We didn't mention,
Well-
are you open today? We should mention that too. You go ahead with this first.
I was going to elaborate on Carol's thought there a little bit yet too, and the same thing kind of goes with daylilies. Some of them only get 12 inches tall, 12 inches wide, and some get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So again, kind of look at your varieties that you're using and space them accordingly. So well, I don't know if I would ever plant daylilies 3 feet apart. That wouldn't work there, but give them some room to grow. Mm-hmm.
All right, got another caller. Good morning. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Ron. I recently thatched my yard, and with the rains being forecasted that they are for tomorrow and tonight, and sounds like some significant rain, is it still okay to fertilize the lawn this morning?
Yeah, it would be actually an ideal time to fertilize it, Randy. You want to, if you can, that when it does thunderstorm or rain, it kind of moves it around in the soil a little bit, and that actually helps in this case, So yeah, I would go ahead and go for it. It's a great morning for that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ron. I'll get after it.
Get to work.
Another project.
You got it. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks for the call. 923-1450, 888-900-1450. Now I'll ask the question. Open yet on Saturday or not?
Yeah, Rademann's isn't open today. We will be open next Saturday, though. So, but yeah, not Monday through Friday till 4, and then next week we'll start. We'll be open till 4:30, and we'll be open next Saturday also.
Back in season.
Back in season. Yep.
All right,
So-
but open during the week to pick up your supplies.
Sure. Yep. You can still stop out during the week, but.
Okay, well, let's take a break as long as you're talking about Rademann's.
So, yeah, again, Rademann's just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, and the easiest way is to work your way over to Highway 41, and then you can just go south out of Fond du Lac, north out of Lemira, I don't know,
West out of Sheboygan.
west out of Sheboygan, or but we're right there.
And we are back. Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. Lines are open for your questions. 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450. Email-wise, it's kfizstudio@gmail.com. Master Gardener Carol here, Ron Rademann's here, and we got a reprieve for calls for a couple minutes, so what'd you guys have to talk about today? You usually come in with a topic or 10.
Maybe.
We always can find something to talk about. I don't know. As I'm driving around through the countryside and the city, for that matter, I'm seeing quite a few problems with some arborvitaes this spring. They weren't able to handle our zone 3 winter this year. Everybody says, well, we're a zone 5. Well, we're a zone 5 here in Fond du Lac until we have a zone 3 winter like we did this year in, the first part of end of January, first part of February, when it was 20 and 30 below wind chills for a week. And, so some of those arborvitaes that people bought online, I'm sure they didn't buy them at a local garden center because local garden centers don't sell them. And that's where, the first thing that pops up when you ask for a screen online, or Green Giant arborvitae pops up. So I get a lot of questions on people asking about Green Giant arborvitae. And the internet loves Green Giant arborvitae because they grow so fast that you can get a quick screen in a hurry, but it's kind of like 2 steps forward and 1 step back with them. You know, they'll freeze out and die back. I don't know if these might have froze out completely this year. We'll have to wait and see. But they'll get some winter damage. We'll go on to we can take the call, Jerry, and then we can come back to this subject.
All righty. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Yeah, I was wondering, I know it's not the right time to trim a river birch tree, but would it be all right to cut about 3, say, 2-inch branches out of it now so it's not hanging out into a field?
No, you could be trimming deciduous trees right now. Now, if you trim a birch or a maple or some of these, they're going to bleed, but that doesn't really hurt them. So, you know, no, go ahead and trim right now. Actually, it works better now than if you wait another month when it's starting to grow. So, you know, now would be a real good time to do any trimming on deciduous, or, you know, you could even be trimming evergreens right now too. So, you know, go ahead and go for it.
Okay, so thank you.
All righty. Appreciate the call. And the lines again are open, 923-1450, 888-900-1450.
So, yeah, you know, as you're shopping on the internet, it's always a wealth of information, but you just don't really ever know exactly, you know, how they're targeting you. And, you know, they say, well, we're in zone 5. They know where you are, and they're targeting that advertising towards you, but that doesn't necessarily mean some of these plants are truly hardy in our area. Or what's really the definition of hardy? You know, they can survive, but that doesn't mean they're going to grow properly, or, you know, they don't die out completely, but they half die. And half dead plants are worse than dead plants, because then you don't know what to do with them. So, you know, there's a lot of these zone 5 plants that I just, you know, it's up to you if you think of, you know, a zone 5 plant like the carpet in your bedroom, and you think it's only going to last 7 years anyway, well, you can go for it, you know, and then replace it when it is worn out or dead. But, you know, a lot of these, you know, if you're buying trees from a nursery around here, you know, they're growing those trees for years, and they don't want them to grow for 5 years and then die, or grow for 7 years and then die. They want them to live, you know, indefinitely. So you got to just be careful when you're buying these, you know, online plants like that make sure that you are buying, you know, hardy plants. And green giant arborvitae are not hardy in Wisconsin. You know, you might be able to get away with them down along the lake, and, you know, along Lake Michigan in the southern part of Wisconsin, you know, Racine and Kenosha down in through there, but the rest of Wisconsin doesn't really work for green giant arborvitae. So,
along the same lines with talking evergreens, not necessarily arborvitae, if you've got from this winter some brown branches, those are gone, right? Just cut those out?
Well, it's going to be hard to tell, you know, because as I'm driving around the countryside, you know, they're completely brown, and I don't know if they're just, you know, and sometimes you can just get winter burn, which would be, you know, the tips are brown, and then sometimes it freezes right back into the whole plant. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and if you have a little winter burn, well, you can trim that out and it'll grow right back. And a lot of times you'll get a little bit of that on some white pine, and the needles just, you know, and white pine are plenty hardy around here. They're a native Wisconsin tree. You'll see them way up north and everything. So, but they can still winter burn, and they're going to be fine. And I'm not sure, you know, like these green giant arborvitae that are heavily promoted online that aren't really hardy, I can't really say yet they haven't been around long enough. They've only been, they've been promoting. They've been around for years, but they sold them down south, and they still grow them down south, and then they ship them up here. And it's hard to say whether if they're going to die out or freeze out completely, or if they're just going to freeze back, and then you can trim the dead off, and then they'll grow back. I don't really know yet. And I don't know that, if you can get them to live 5 or 6 or 7 years, they get a deeper root system, and, but you got to kind of get to that point first. And that's kind of the tricky part, is you got to kind of get lucky and have a couple of zone 5 winters 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row before you have your zone 3 winter. So.
Okay.
Are those being sold more so in the big box stores or not?
No, you don't really see them. They
Anywhere? They're
no.
just like mail order?
Yeah, it's more mail order.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. Or
then you never know what you have.
yeah, because they're who knows where they're shipping them from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And and most people, how do you ship a dead one back? Or they guarantee them for a year. But you don't know if you plant them now and they die, over the winter, they've made it a year.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they're, so if they guarantee them for a year, well, that doesn't
Big deal.
That doesn't really do you much good, because they will live all of this year, and then next year you don't know if they're dead or alive come spring,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't know how everybody's. If you buy them locally, though, at least you can get some good advice as to what you do, how to handle them.
And the type that survives here.
Right, because no one's going to, sell them around here if they got to replace them every year.
No,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be good.
No,
Nope.
not at all. And what about garden planting? Way too early yet, or is it time to put lettuces or something like that in, or what are the master gardener's thoughts on?
Ron's the one that looks 3-4 weeks out. Are we going to freeze again?
Oh, we're going to get a frost yet.
Are we? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah,
about grass seed? Can you do grass seed now? I did it yesterday, so I shouldn't ask, but I did.
no, because, if we get an overnight frost or an overnight freeze, that isn't going to hurt grass or anything. You just have to be, if you're planting, annuals outside or vegetables outside, you have to worry about a frost. But as far as, planting perennials and grass, things like that, you don't, if it does dip down to 27 or 28 overnight for a few hours, it isn't going to hurt those kind of plants like it would if you have annuals or vegetables. Mm-hmm.
The lettuces and things like that are more mid-May. So you can even cheat on that by a week because you're putting the seed in and it's covered, so it'll probably be okay even if there is a light frost, but it's more middle of May than it is April.
I think everybody's just antsy to
Oh, of course.
get going.
That's why I
because-
threw the grass seed out there yesterday. Yes.
Well, and you got to kind of do things in order, and I think you could probably even still do like dormant oil applications yet. I wouldn't probably stretch them much past this week or early next week.
I did that yesterday also.
But
You had a busy day.
and then we kind of start. You just have to do things in sequence, and so there's some things you can cheat a little bit on and push the season a little bit, but we're a little too early to be pushing some of these things yet. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
But a week of nice warm weather here would be nice.
Well,
Yeah,
temperature-wise, this week we're going to have that.
Yes.
Yeah, and with that thought in mind, if after this week you're going to miss out on your step 1 application because after a week of 70s, the grass is going to start germinating. So if you have crabgrass, it's going to start growing. So you want to get your step 1 down, just like Randy was working on it here this morning. It'd be a great time to work on that today or tomorrow before it starts raining again, or, this weekend, because after it's supposed to be in the 70s pretty much every day next week, or upper 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And, so by the time we get to next week's show, it'll be too late to do step 1. So, then we're on to step 2 already.
So step on it.
So step on it.
Step on it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
923-1450. Phones are open and available to you if you have any questions. Lawn, garden, landscape, whatever. We're here. They're here. I push buttons.
I forgot to bring my brochure along for the Junior Master Gardeners. So if there's anybody out there that would like to come and join us, we meet every other week. We meet at the, I'm going to say UW campus, which is always wrong, at the Fond du Lac campus. I'll give you my phone number because I did not remember to bring the one along for the 4-H office. So it's 920-923-6645. The grade level is from 8 to 11, and we would certainly love to have some new gardeners. We have several now. We had a very miserable last week because we were going to walk from the room to the greenhouse, and it was just horrible out. We couldn't do that with the kids, so it got to be an abbreviated class. But we are still looking for young people to do that. We meet now in the late afternoon, 4 to 5:30, but as soon as school is out, then it's from, I believe it's 1 to 2:30. So if anybody has interest in doing some gardening, that would be the thing to do. You can call me at 920-923-6645.
All righty. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, I just have a comment about there's a dam in Hayton that every spring when the water's high like it is now and the water flows over the dam, there was always these big balls of pollution, that make foam.
Uh-huh.
And this year there's way less. They used to be like over the side, bigger than a basketball, and they'd be floating down the river. That's the Manitowoc River. And this year there's a lot less. So I'm thinking maybe some of the farming changes, practices, row cropping, strip cropping, whatever, is cutting down on the amount of stuff that's going into the river.
Well, and those were probably phosphates,
right,
that were creating those that foam and bubble, and so hopefully that is all working to our advantage.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's a good indication of the environment getting better.
Well,
can you put weed and feed on now?
If you can get step 1 down yet right now, that would be okay. If you're going to do step 2, which is more of a weed and feed, that would be, typically, towards the end of April. But, if you got your step 1 down, go for it, and then wait 3 weeks to do the.
What is step 1? Is that just fertilizer?
It's fertilizer with like crabgrass preventer.
Okay, because I have a liquid lawn weed killer. I mean, you can see the dandelions are starting to make their little crowns coming through the grass.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking I'd like to get rid of them because I've got thousands of them in one area. And if I could put the liquid spray down on that.
Well, you could do, step 2 now, which is what you're actually talking about.
Right.
It's a weed and step 2 is a weed and feed. And on the other hand, it might be just a little early because a lot of the weeds haven't really started to grow yet. So, but if you would do it, you could do it now, and then you'd probably would just do it again in about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I might put the dry stuff down then. Then I'll put the weed and feed down, the crystal.
Sure. And that would work. That would work too. you know. But if you're going to put like a step 2 or a weed and feed down right now, you're probably, either you're a little early or you could just do 2 applications, do one. And sometimes that works better anyway. 2 light applications, that'll kill off some of these dandelions that are starting to pop up, and some of the other small weeds that you can't even see yet. It'll knock those down. The grass will start filling in, and then wait about 3 weeks and then put a second application down. Sure.
Have you ever eaten dandelion greens?
Not intentionally.
Well, see, when they're young like this, my mom used to make endive, and she'd put it in the mashed potatoes. And these tender dandelion greens, they tasted just like endive.
My mother-in-law did that as well. Yes.
Did she?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an old German thing, I think.
I think so. I think you're right.
They didn't waste anything back in those days.
No.
Oh, yeah.
They even ate the weeds.
You see these farmers, and they got all these piles of old machinery back there. I can use a bolt off of that sometime, or I can use,
You never know what you're going to need.
That's right.
All right, have a good day.
All right, thanks
You
for the
too.
call. And we are going to take our second break.
All right, let's take a break. Again, Rademann's not open today, Saturday, but we will be open next Saturday. And we are open Monday through Friday till 4:30, and you can stop on out. We're just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, and then east on County Trunk B, about a quarter mile down the road, or give us a call, 920-922-7612.
KFIZ News Time 8:43. Welcome back to Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company, 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450, or kfizstudio@gmail.com, which is what Brian used, and asks the question, how do I maintain any winter burn to maintain a good look and keep the plant healthy? But doesn't specify what type of plant, so that's a quote from what he emailed us. Good
Well,
luck.
you could call in and give us more information, or you could
That'd
send us another email. I'm kind of assuming that he's probably talking about like arborvitae or evergreens that have, when he says winter burn, typically that's the green needles, the green foliage of evergreens that is desiccated if you get like the winter winds, winter sun, and especially like this year when we had that 10-day period, the end of January, early February, when we didn't have any snow cover. We had, the frost was just driving in quickly at that time of year. And so then evergreens especially have they call it we call it winter burn, and basically it's just the tips of the last year's new growth that turn brown. And like on arborvitaes or Japanese yews, things like that, you could kind of just trim that back, shear it back, and it'll grow right back through it and right back out of it, and if you're like arborvitaes right now, if you trim them today, let's just say, by next Saturday, you'd be able to see where there's some new growth coming to fill in already where you made those cuts on that, cut that dead out of there. And if it's burnt, it won't grow back where it was brown. So you'll actually do it best by trimming it back. So now that's on like arborvitaes, yews, things like that. If you like white pine, for an example, or balsam fir, some of those that would, or concolor fir that would kind of winter burn, there you don't really have to trim back because the new growth the buds are there right now, and the buds will expand and grow. So you're probably you're definitely better off just leaving well enough alone if you have a white pine with winter burn or any of the firs and things like that. You don't usually see winter burn on spruce, but you will see it. It's most prevalent on the longer needled pines. So,
Okay, and he is referencing, he emailed in, the subject line didn't come through on the first one, arborvitae.
Okay. You
Okay.
guessed it. Right. Good for you, Ron.
yeah, I've talked to Brian enough through the years. I kind of know the way he's thinking already, but yeah, that is arborvitae. You want to trim, cut those back, cut that brown off, trim that brown off, and then, it'll be soft and pliable. Then you'll know it's green and ready to grow. And if you, like I said earlier, if you trim those right now, it'd be a good time to do it, and then they'll start growing back here already starting, by next weekend. Next week you'd see some new buds growing already.
All righty. Hopefully that answers it for you, Brian. 920-923-1450 for phone questions or 888-900-1450, KFIZ studio at gmail.com for emails.
That too.
Yep. So, and given the forecast for the next few days, today is a good trimming day.
I would say yes.
Yeah, it's going to be, for the most part, I think it's going to be a pretty good week. You just, most of these times when you get this rain at this time of year, it rains overnight, so it's wet in your yard, but it doesn't always affect your plans for the day.
Okay, a question from Bill. We had a lot of damage from either voles or moles over the winter. We can repair the lawn, but how do we prevent this next winter? And are moles or voles around in the summer? And what is the difference between them?
I never did figure that out. They kind of look the same.
Well, and they act the same too. And typically, what you want to do there is if you have like those varmints like that don't like short grass because then they have no cover. So if you have an open field behind your house, mow back into it a little bit further. The other thing you can do is mow your lawn short in the fall or early winter, whatever you want to call November. And because, if you have matted grass, that's when you end up with more mole and vole damage. I'm not sure of the differences, and I don't really know if it matters. The bottom line is, they're burrowing under taller grass, and they have cover. If it's short grass, then they don't want to venture out into your yard because they're susceptible or vulnerable to hawks and things like that. So they stay, where they're protected. So if you have tall grass and and it's matted down, they can hide underneath that tall grass. So that's how come you end up with a problem with moles and voles.
What do they do? Do they dig and eat the roots, or what do they do?
They kind of just eat the grass, and it for the most part it usually doesn't hurt it because you can just kind of rake up the dead grass, and then the new grass grows and fills back in. Because it for the most part, they don't dig down deep enough to get like the whole root system of grass. Wow. It just looks bad right now, and it's a lot more work because you got to get rid of all that dead grass where they've been burrowing around. So
okay, well, you got a critter problem. Mow your lawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to prevent it is to just mow short in the fall.
All righty. Take our final break.
All right, take a break. Again, Rademann's not open this morning, Saturday morning, but we will be open Monday through Friday. and we are open next Saturday then for the season. So
And we
give
will
us
be
a
back
call
with a
or
caller.
stop on by.
And we are back. The final few minutes of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. And we have a caller. Good morning. You are on the air.
Good morning. Last week was Easter, and I just called to save the life of a few Easter lilies. It's a good time to, they're going to start drying up, and then people have a tendency just to throw them in the garbage. And they make a nice garden plant. You can put them out there, plant them. They're going to die back, but then sometime before the end of summer, you're still going to get another bloom, and next year they'll come back stronger than ever.
That is true.
That's a great idea. Good thought.
Yep.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
People would like to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. You've got them anyhow, and too many people throw them away. So it's a nice plant to put out there.
Do you get them to come back the following winter, too?
Yeah, I've had them coming back for about 7-8 years now.
Good.
And every year you get more, and the bulbs get thicker. In fact, after a while, you probably should thin them out a little bit. But you
That's a lot of
don't
work.
have to. They get a little bit smaller, but I've got one that I've got last year. I had 23 flowers on.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So if you trim them back, I'm not real familiar with this. It sounds like you're the Easter lily expert here. So we're going to all learn a little bit. When you plant them, you take them out of the pot, obviously, plant them out in in the bed, and you cut them back like halfway.
You can actually cut them right to the ground almost because they're going to dry down. You can leave them dry back if you want, either in the house or out in the garden first, and then cut them all the way back. And about 2 months from now, they're going to start greening up again. And in about 3 months from now, you'll have flowers again. So by, I'm going to say July or August, you're going to have a nice plant with nice flowers again.
Then you have to remember where you planted it.
Right.
Which would be great. It's a good surprise always.
Yeah, and they've got nice big bulbs, so they're not small like some plants. That it's a nice large bulb, so they're easy to find.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's fantastic.
Good
Great
advice.
idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, no problem. Enjoy listening to you guys.
And you got your good deed for the day done early today. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thanks for
Have
the
a good-
call. Take care. 923-1450. If you have a question, we got a few minutes left here. We can get you in. 923-1450 or KFIZstudio@gmail.com email.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, we talk about daylilies, we talk about tiger lilies, and Easter lilies are usually a little bit ahead of our season here on Landscape Smart. But
But now you got the leftovers.
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of if you can get flowers already in July from this year's Easter lilies again, that's phenomenal.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea.
And they're so pretty.
They're beautiful.
And they smell good.
Just
They
gonna
got
put in a-
everything going for them.
They do. They do. So, Master Gardener plant sale, May 9th, Saturday.
That's only a month away.
That's right. Right. Starts at 8,
9,
goes till.
8 or 9.
I think it's 8, isn't it? Isn't that
Used-
why you
used to
always
be
say
9.
because we're here then, right? You
No.
think it was 9?
Yeah, because I can't be there when it opens. But it might
Yeah.
be 8. Maybe you.
Yeah, I
maybe
don't-
maybe
well,
I
anyway.
missed the first
It'll
hour.
work anyway. I'll make sure I know the next time I come here.
Okay.
Yes.
But a
But
lot of
it's-
plants available.
Yes, there are a lot of plants available.
For sure, 9 o'clock, but
Yeah.
but maybe 8 o'clock. Yeah.
But if you're
Pro-
there at 8
probably
and they
get-
don't open till 9, you'd be first in line.
right.
Would be.
Best selection. So, anyhow, it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Not
it's
only is it good for a source for plants for your garden, it's just a lot of fun there.
right.
Well, you bump into a lot of your old friends that you haven't seen for
Right.
in the past year.
And you can put faces to the master gardeners who you hear here.
That too.
Yeah.
Yes. Most of the master gardeners have some do in the plant sale thing because it's a lot of work. They have to set it all up and things are going at the greenhouse at the
Is Patty
campus.
Patty going to plant this year?
You mean pot for people?
Yeah.
Yes. I would guess she is. I'll
Okay.
ask her today when I see her.
Okay.
We're doing the day in the garden deal.
Okay. All righty, we got just a couple minutes left. If you have a question, now would be a real good time to ask. 923-1450.
It's not too late to get planning. As a matter of fact, it's a great time. So, stop on out to Rademann's. Joe will help you out, get you started. You can either take on the project yourself, or otherwise he can help you choose a contractor to help you with your project. A lot of contractors are already pretty much booked for April and May, but you kind of never really know how booked you are in April, May, and June, because if you kind of schedule, most contractors will schedule like 4 days a week, assuming that they're going to lose a day to rain. And, sometimes it rains and sometimes it doesn't. So, they can say they're busy, they can say they're filled up, and then the weather changes their schedule and you start moving ahead a little bit. So anyway, time to get planning. If you haven't figured it out, it's time to get going.
Get her done. Get her done.
Yes.
Speaking of which, the show's done.
It's our song.
It's your tune.
So again, Rademann's not open today. We will be open next Saturday. We are open Monday through Friday till 4:30. And give us a call. Check us out online. Check us out on Facebook. 920-922-7612 if you want to give us a call.
All righty. Our thanks today to Carol, Master Gardener. Our thanks to Ron for his expertise as well. And especially our thanks to you for your calls and your emails. We appreciate that. Coming up, the Jerry Schneider Show on News Talk 1450 KFIZ Fond du Lac. It's 9 o'clock.